inside a Vargo Hexagon Wood Stove. This is a little remote fuel alcohol stove. So you can feed it alcohol when it starts to run out. And I'm going to try it with this 23-ounce Arizona iced tea can, because that's all that'll fit. That's the biggest that'll fit in a Vargo wood stove. So I'm going to get it going and we'll see how it does. Okay, there it goes. Let it heat up a little bit. I got the fuel tank up on a little piece of brick. Give it a little elevation. Now let's see if I can sneak that can in there without putting the fire out. There, it's burning on the sides already, so I'll shut the door and we'll see if it can get it done. Oh, it's not burning, is it? So you gotta let this thing heat up. And if you let it heat up, it'll do real well. I'm a little impatient. That looks good. We'll just peek inside and make sure those burners are burning. Yep. Okay. Alright, well, I'll go make a note of the time and we'll see what happens. At the 5-minute mark, let's check on it. Burning just fine. I moved the reservoir off the brick and onto the striker, about a little less than half as high as it was, because all the fuel transferred out of the reservoir into the stove. So I added about a ½ ounce more. The stove holds a little more than an ounce below the burner holes. I'm thinking this might take a couple of ounces. Very tall can here. A little over 20 ounces of water in it. This is really different, being able to look right here and see whether it's running out of fuel or not. Okay, now you can see this stove is getting a little hot. Notice that there's a lot of flame coming out of that little stove now. Because we have really, let me close the door, because we've really got that windscreen and stove chamber all heated up. So the alcohol's nice and hot and boiling inside the stove and burning real good. And just hear a little, can you hear that? A little water boiling in there at the bottom. It's about 9 minutes right now. Can you hear it? Minutes. Lots of flame in there. It's getting hot. 13 minutes. Okay. It has now boiled over at 14 minutes. 14 minutes to boil a little over 20 ounces, probably pretty close to 22 ounces of water. Now, the trick is, how do you turn this thing off? About out of fuel, burned about 2 ounces. All the fuel is over there in the stove because I elevated this fuel source. So I'd really like to turn that off. blowing on it. That worked. You can blow it out. Well, it looks like it has about 3/4 of an ounce of fuel left. So I think it burned somewhere between 1 and 2 ounces of fuel, probably. Kind of hard to tell. Next time I'll measure a little better.